All right, guys, so this is my go-to crappie gear. First of all, let's talk about the rod. I love an ultralight rod for crappie. Essentially what an ultralight rod lets you do, first and foremost, is use small finesse baits, which you need for panfish. Next, what it's going to do is help you detect a bite on the end, because as you can see, it's really sensitive, and you can just see any little movement is going to affect that. You guys could probably see it before. You know, any little bite you can detect, and you can feel a lot more, which you're going to have to do when you're sighting the hook. So those are the two big reasons you want an ultralight. You can use smaller baits, smaller gear for smaller fish, and you can really handle more finesse fishing like we're doing with these guys. With the ultralight rod, what you're also going to want is a little bit longer. I have a 7.2 here, and then this is the tuned up Custom Rods Apex Elite. I just love the feeling of their rods, especially their Elite line. I use it a lot with the bullwhip and stuff during ice, so I went and got the same one for open water, and I'm obsessed. I actually have two of these that are my main panfish rods. So I have a Fluger Treon. Now this is their like size 20. Every different reel has a different category, but what you're going to look for on these reels is the line weight that it allows, and we want something that can go real low for bluegills and smaller crappies, and so this has 2 to 4 pound line weight threshold, so that's going to be perfect. So when you guys are looking for a reel, I highly recommend that. I think we bought this at L&M for like $50. Nothing fancy. Whatever you want to do, just get a lightweight reel to, you know, pair with your lightweight rod. All right, so we got the reel, we got the rod. Now let's talk about the line. Now, the line I like is mono for panfish, because if it's too stiff, if there's not any stretch, you're gonna really yank those lures out of the small fish mouth. So that's why I love mono for panfish. It's about the only time I use mono, but that stretch can go a long ways for those hook sets. It's not that visible like braid is, and I think sometimes that stretch helps eliminate the fish feeling the bite because it takes off some of that tension. So those are the reasons why I pick mono. For crappie, I do 2 to 4 pound mono. That is really going to be my line of choice. All right, let's get to what just caught these crappie. You've been seeing me pull up like crazy this fall, including these, is with the tungsten toad. I do a lot of ice gear this time of year, and also just because I think it works really well for panfish in general because it's small. With tungsten, it can be pretty dense, so you can really get a lot in a small frame. And so it's a slow falling lure. So it's just essentially why not? I have a lot of ice rigs on hand. And so on top of using baits such as like white hair jigs and stuff like that, I also really love these types of jigs. And I pair them with plastics or I pair them with minnows. Now today it's a tougher bite, so I paired it with a minnow. And how I do that is I hook it right through the nose of the fish, so it still has some life. And this is going to do a slow fall, maybe catch the fish's attention, but really going to do a slow fall down. So that's kind of my go-to setup. For jigs, I like the Lindy live bait rig for a really aggressive bite because it's thicker and heavier. I like the Moglo jig because it's the other end of the spectrum, super slow falling, a patient game during the most finesse bites, and then some tungsten ice jigs in between. So this is the tungsten toad, and I've been slaying with this all fall just because it's that perfect fall rate where I can get down there on the school kind of quick, but it's got that kind of attack feature where when it's coming down slow, it's almost like the school is racing to get to that jig. So pretty awesome setup, and we're going to put this guy, he's toast from being in 30 feet, so that's why I'm holding on to him. We're going to throw him in the live well, and we're going to get right back down there.